Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. Let's get right into the Bitcoin chart for today, starting on this 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, because right now we are seeing a big pump to the upside, about 3% just today, after we had seen nothing but red candles here on the 1-day time frame for about a week or so. So now with us breaking this short-term downtrend, it has completely opened up the possibility for another move to the upside here. And something like this happening is exactly what I talked about in yesterday's video called Nobody Expects This Next Move, because a lot of people are just extremely bearish right now, where I personally think like a lot of this recent volatility and bearish price action that we have been seeing is basically just related to the US elections, which are putting some uncertainty in the market here, and therefore a lot of people are just de-risking. And this is actually something that I was talking about for weeks before this even happened. Like, we should expect a lot of volatility around the US elections, a lot of uncertainty in the market, and that's exactly what we have been seeing so far. Now, if I just take a look at this 4-hour time frame, you can see that right here we have a confirmed bullish divergence. So we have lower lows in the Bitcoin price and higher lows in the RSI momentum indicator. Now, typically this points towards a break from all of the bearish price action that we have been seeing here recently. So either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or some bullish momentum in the short term. And of course, that short-term bullish momentum is exactly how this played out so far. Although I do not think that we are fully out of the woods yet here, because if I just take a look at these ascending trend lines for Bitcoin, you can see that right here, for example, we broke below that first trend line and then got rejected from it. Then we fell below the second trend line, got rejected from that as well, with another move to the downside following that to end up filling that CME gap around 67K. But either way, now that we have seen this move to the upside, we are now retesting this first ascending trend line here. And of course, you know that I was expecting there to be some kind of resistance there. You actually can get a bit of a better picture here on the 1-hour time frame, where we are kind of struggling to confidently break through that ascending trend line. But I do think once it is broken, likely we are going to see higher price action for Bitcoin. For example, if we confidently break out above 70K on that 4-hour time frame, likely we are coming up into this next big level of resistance, sitting from 71 all the way up to 73,000. As far as potential price targets go in that big level of resistance, perhaps you could look towards this 1.618 Fibonacci level, sitting at about 71.3K for the Bitcoin price, where again, I am expecting there to be some kind of resistance. And besides that, if I take a look at this 1-day time frame for Bitcoin, the dream of this $80,000 Bitcoin is still alive. Yes, we got this move to the downside here, but we have not yet invalidated this cup and handle pattern, meaning that this $80,000 price target is, technically speaking, still active, unless we invalidate it by trading down below 66.5K. Besides that, you can see that we are still breaking out above this descending channel on the 1-day time frame that we had been consolidating in for about 7 months. So far on the 1-day time frame, we are still just making higher highs and higher lows. Of course, my posture is going to change if we now undercut these previous lows. Then likely you will see me flipping a little bit more bearish here, also on the higher time frames, because that would open up the possibility of another bigger move to the downside here. Although for now, I am still just bullish on the higher time frames. If we take a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat maps for today, first of all, on this 1-year time frame, so this highest time frame for Bitcoin, right here you can see that there is a lot of liquidity to the upside, sitting at about 74,000 US dollars. We have about $22 billion worth of short positions that would get liquidated if the Bitcoin price reaches 74K. Now, liquidated, in the case that you are new here, means that people will lose their money on their trade, and their level of liquidation is sitting right here at 74,000 US dollars. So a lot of people are not expecting the Bitcoin price to go up to this level. However, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity on this chart, and right now it is to the upside. Now, taking a look at the lower time frames for Bitcoin, so here this 1-week time frame, for example, we actually just took out a big level of liquidity to the upside, punishing a bunch of late shorters. Of course, we were in a bit of a downtrend here over the last week or so, and then here you can see a lot of people entering a short position over the last 2-3 days, basically. and we had a lot of liquidity sitting at about 70.5K because of that. And literally just a few hours ago, about $200 million worth of short positions was taken out of the market, meaning they lost their money on their trade. Now, most of the liquidity on this 1 week time frame is also sitting at about 73 to 74K for the Bitcoin price. So yeah, as far as I'm concerned, as I said earlier in this video, so long as we do not invalidate those bullish patterns that I talked about earlier, I am expecting that eventually we're going to take out this big level of liquidity unless there is some kind of major news event. Perhaps the US elections can have an effect on this, but I don't want to speculate on that because this channel purely focuses on the technical analysis for Bitcoin. So that is just something that we kind of have to take into consideration. The elections can have an effect on the markets, and for now it is something pretty unpredictable. So I guess we just have to wait. And the way I deal with all of this uncertainty in the market is simply by trading the lower time frames for Bitcoin. So for example, taking a leverage long position on this bullish momentum here and taking a short position on this bearish momentum here. But of course, that is not financial advice. I'm simply telling you what I am doing currently in this market situation. But regardless, taking a look at the Bitcoin ETF flow tables for today, yesterday we saw a massive $500 million outflow from the Bitcoin ETFs. So again, I think a lot of this can be attributed to a lot of investors, potentially traders, de-risking before the election results because they don't want to get burned by perhaps the market responding negatively to whoever gets voted in. So for now, I'm just going to continue to keep an eye on these Bitcoin ETF flow tables as well every single day, of course, as always. But either way, this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.